Hello. I think that was my hands, by the way. So, that's hopefully a good funny joke to keep the video going. What am I going to talk about today? I guess today I'll talk about how, and I was thinking about talking about this, but I've only just now, at the very start of the video, thought, yeah, I may as well talk about this, because I was sort of speculating that I could. And so, obviously, if you don't know, I'm a university student. So if you know me in person, you'll probably know, yeah, he probably did go to uni because what else was he going to do? So that's just a lot of people's mindset. But so I went to university. Here I am at university. I'm in my fourth year, which is basically not master's level or anything. It's my third year because I did a year abroad, if you didn't guess from all the ramblings I've done in the previous videos. And I don't know why I say that because there's only one view on like a lot of my other videos because no one sees them, because that's just why TikTok is better than YouTube at the moment, because you can just find people's videos without them having to have a following, and it's so much harder to get a following on YouTube. But that's why it matters more in the end as well. And so being at university, I mainly wanted to talk about like the anxiety that I have depending on the studying and stuff, which is obviously the studying and all that's obviously hard. But there was this interesting time where it was hard for me to go to lectures because I knew I was behind. And so because I was behind, I sort of worried about, being able to take part in the lectures because I didn't want to like sort of let the lecturer down, because if I was like asked a question, I didn't want to be able to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know, and them to be like, oh, why don't you know this? Have you not been doing your work and whatever? And obviously they're not gonna be like that because you're paying to be there, I'm paying to be here. But then so obviously it either weighs on myself that I'm not doing the work that I should be. But a lot of the time you just need to relax, to be honest, because like I had a nap before where I was feeling sort of like tired, and then when I was like, no, I'm just gonna take a refresh, lie down, relax. It's just better that way, and then you feel less anxious. It's been a weird one in terms of like the TikTok side of things as well. This episode, I hate saying episode. I do, and I keep saying I do as if like people currently keep seeing consistently all these things that I say in the videos, and it actually matters when you see the next one, but it really doesn't. But for the first time ever, but it's basically like a video diary that I can sort of let things out on, and so when there's very few people seeing it, it's actually a lot better for me to be able to do this, because then it doesn't matter as much. Obviously, everything, you should be careful anything you put on the internet, and I shouldn't think, oh, only 25 people are going to see this. So, but it's important to vent. Like, I feel like a lot of people need to. And so I'm just going to end up eventually just doing vlogs, aren't I? But I also like, a lot of the videos are formatted like this, but obviously I will talk about the last video I uploaded yesterday. I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. I could check right now, but it's no point. Was, as I remember correctly, the video about, it was the tea challenge. No, it wasn't a tea challenge, but it was a little comedy skit that I put onto TikTok about trying to figure out the value, if you will, algebraically, like if I asked you if you wanted a cup of tea, and you said to me, oh yeah, only put a little bit of milk in it, and then basically I can't imagine anyone's seen this skit because I'm pretty sure it had one view, which is probably me, and obviously and then my one view on this will probably be this as well, because obviously I'm not famous enough, or people know me enough to obviously, for them to obviously invest their time into. For instance, I wouldn't necessarily just pick any random YouTuber and just watch their video, but if iDubbbz, for instance, one of my favourite YouTubers, I've got his sheep hoodie here, for instance, and someone commented that actually. I don't actually know who they were, so maybe it was a viewer as opposed to someone I actually know in real life. But so if he posted a video, then I'd actually be interested and go, oh, because I just know that, don't I? So that's the weird thing. And I'm pretty sure I went on a big tangent there, but I was talking about how I did the tea video on TikTok. And I'll just quickly mention, maybe this will make sense, but if it doesn't, it's just important to just keep going. And as well, it's a good practice for public speaking, I guess, because obviously when I start the videos, I know I'm talking to like you guys, like YouTube, but then it never really sort of feels like it, like it feels like it, but then obviously the more I keep going, I just sort of end up talking. Another positive as well. So it's like there's positives in like that. There's positives in the fact that obviously the video diary and I can vent as I said. So obviously it's gonna feel quite vloggy, but at least I get the opportunity to do this. Yeah, that's why I said about the video diary thing, because it's good to vent, although it seems vloggy, which I'm not a big fan of. It seems like if you do a vlog, there's not necessarily any reason to it. But if you're a very interesting person, which is why I hope this to work, because then, and obviously I hate saying the word hope, that's why I want this to work, because then it will prove to me that I am an interesting person, that people are literally tuning in to see the things that I'm going to talk about. And that's why I guess it's cool for people to vlog, because people are so interested in what they've done like that day, if they do daily vlogs, for instance, which a lot of people do. And so that's why I like to do these daily videos. Obviously, they've been daily videos, and I've not said daily episodes there, which is good. But so these daily videos also then shows that, you know, I've got necessarily a commitment to it. And I'd say I do daily TikToks, but I think there was a couple of days ago that I didn't do one on one day, but I wasn't really too bothered about it, to be honest. I think I have my moments on TikTok. Obviously, I've made a video with like nearly 1 million views. Compare that to my 25 subscriber YouTube channel. It's completely different. And then that video basically got me my like 10,000 follower following. I did a Lego Star Wars challenge, which got me like 100,000 views, 20,000 likes. I did a funny video of my Mandalorian Razor Crest set, got like 6,000 likes. But interestingly enough, yesterday was a really weird day. I had like the first time ever 2 videos with over 10,000 views in one day. And the way I say 10,000 views is as like a sort of landmark, because it goes from 9999 to sounds like an angry Hitler then, didn't I? 9999, and it goes to 10,000, so it goes 10.0k, and so it's quite like there's a very big difference between that. And so it's the first time I'd ever had 2 in one day, sorry. And one of them was a FIFA video. And so this is where you can see there's quite a disparity between my videos. I think disparity is the correct word there, because I've got the video, because I uploaded like a FIFA video where it's me and like a card from Ultimate Team, and I'm just talking about it. And then another one was me sort of having a joke at someone who incorrectly phrases something from Star Wars. So they're very different. So as you can see, if I got the viewership from the same thing, because Star Wars and FIFA, they're very like laddie. For instance, so I'm an example. I know other people, like off the top of my head, say if I'm going to name some friends like Billy, Callum, Tom, old friend, but so shout out Tom if you're watching. But he definitely obviously likes Star Wars and FIFA. But not a lot of people like, so I think in terms of Star Wars and FIFA, I'm like the pinnacle. But obviously not a lot of people, you know, you've got like your football lads, you've got your nerds, I guess. And so that's why, imagine if I had 2 big videos in the same community, it'd be like, oh wow, this guy, and then a lot of people would follow, and it just sort of builds that way. But so, interestingly enough, it was the first one that I did. So, yesterday I felt like super good about it. I was like, whoa, oh yeah, my TikTok's growing really well. And I gained like, I think like 200 followers in one day, which is high. Normally I gain about an average of like 30 or something. Might be like 20 or something. It depends on how the videos do, doesn't it? But well, no, because daily would suggest it doesn't, but the sort of the lowest daily average, so like the infimum, if you will, you won't know what that word means. Well, you might do, but chances are you won't. That infimum means, I'm not going to explain that word. Well, I may as well now. Infimum is like the lower bound, but it's like a highest lower bound. I'm not going to go into that because that's crazy mathematical, and I probably couldn't even do it right now if I tried. But yeah, so obviously today, if I think I've got like 400 views on one, which is all right. Like, I'm not too fussed, but obviously I know that in my head, if I don't do really well on TikTok today in comparison to yesterday, that's okay, And so a lot of that has been the same with my uni work. Like, not that I'm allowing myself to fail, but you have to at times be okay to go, I'm not going to do the best. And maybe there'll be a video soon, and this will all link up together, but obviously I can't imagine there's going to be a lot of people that are still here. If anyone has clicked on the video, the chances are that they kept watching until here is just so slim, it's ridiculous. So I'm basically just talking to myself. So I can basically just muse to myself as well, so that's a positive from that. That I'm going to make a video on how you have, like, a no-win situation is actually a win-win situation. Because if you've automatically lost, then you can't do anything but lose. And then therefore, everything is losing. But then, that's a win. So obviously, if I sort of just completely failed my degree now, if I told myself I'm not going to study at all, then obviously I'd just fail, right? But if I let myself go, oh, whatever I do now is going to help. This is sort of sounding counterintuitive, but it's to do with like the method that I sort of created for myself, which I sort of pulled myself out of a slump like this, and hence how talking about it pulls me out of the slump. But I'm going to try and make another video, I guess maybe tomorrow if I have the time for it, that will just be called like the something technique or something, and it will be a technique that will be about how to study, because it wasn't necessarily the lecture thing that was sort of in the back of my mind, because God forbid my parents see this. I was debating linking my YouTube to them, like sending it to them over email, but I just realized that the more vloggy it gets, and if I talk about how I'm not doing the best at university, they're just gonna be on the phone to me every weekend. And as much as they say it's up to me, however well that I do at university, but now I really hope they don't see it. But I'll explain this in the next video that I do that should hopefully be this like study technique, because that's a good idea, and I'll write that down as soon as I finish this video, which should hopefully be very soon, because I'm realizing now that we're definitely over the 10-minute mark. Right now, I guess I'd say 14 minutes maybe. No, it can't be as long as 14 minutes. We might be about 10 actually. That'll be interesting. So another sort of timestamp in the thing. But it was about the fact that if I know I'm behind in my university work, say if this is a line and I'm here, but I know I should be here, then I'm going to think, oh, I've got all this to do. But from experience, I've been attempting pieces of coursework way later than I should have been, because that's a cliche at university. Not that you should do it, but it just sort of happens. Like, the work stacks up, especially when you do like a hard degree like maths. And so I found myself at one stage through doing an all-nighter going, oh my god, this is impossible, I'm not going to be able to get through this. I've flunked it. I've messed this up. This is something that I've done wrong. But then the more you just, obviously, when you're in that all-nighter mode, and people who are university students who are watching will know this, when you're in that all-nighter mode, you just don't stop, because you've got that pressure that fights the, there's a very good procrastination TEDx talk on this. If you type in TEDx talk and procrastination, it'll make sense. And it says that there's like a fear sort of fights the procrastination monkey. Procrastination monkey is what creates procrastination. Go watch that if you haven't already. So type in procrastination and TEDx talk, and then do it now and come back if you want, or just watch it after, write it down maybe. And so you're just gonna get through that work. But it's the same thing as your mood flips. Well, at least it does for me, where obviously because I've got no choice but to go through it, I tend to then, you get over the hill and you think, damn, if I had more time at this, if I just started it sooner. So the best thing you can do, and this sort of goes without saying, but it does tie into what I mean. Obviously the best thing you can do is just start your work as soon as possible. But I have anxiety to sort of, like, and I don't want to say I have anxiety as if I know it's an issue, but, well, I guess I do. Like, there's a weird, but I'm definitely, I know for a fact that sometimes I go, or sometimes I think in my head. Now I'm being able to sort of think about those thoughts. And I laughed at that because it's a weird TikTok sound where it's like, it might be an Alan Watts thing, and he goes, when someone thinks all the time, they have nothing to think about but thoughts. And it's supposed to be if you're thinking about some profound thing and incredibly philosophical. But I'll be anxious to study because I know that I don't know the stuff because I'm behind. But then the more you do it, you do get into it. But if I let myself go in, oh, I'm not going to understand this, and the more I'm just doing it, the more you will just understand it just by doing it. You've just got to get out there and do it. And that's sort of how I'll end this video. Okay, if any of that's made sense, then great. And if there's anyone here, please, if you've made it to the end of the video, please like. I don't care about the like, but I care about knowing that someone's made and watched the video. But then again, also, and I'm still rambling and I can't believe it, the point is that if I've still done this, it benefits me because I get to reflect upon my day in a vloggy sense or a video diary sense. But yeah, I've already talked about that. So this is the end of the video and we're going to calmly phase out. But I will do my outro still.